Welcome to the third episode of the Fifth String Podcast. I'm your host, Dennis Reedy, along with my co-host, Josh Foote. Along with us today is a former semi-pro outdoor and arena football player, NPC Mr. Teen Michigan, NPC Michigan Teenage Overall Champion, Musclemania Overall Teen Champion, 2018 NPC Long Island Men's Classic Physique Overall Winner, a friend of the show's, the one, the only, Joe Russo.
Hey,
what's up, fam? You know it's your boy, Rue. Thanks for having me on, you guys. I appreciate it. I'm very honored. And hey, let's get to it. Let's get to some dirtiness, eh? Let's get to some topics.
Love it, Rue. One thing Reedy did forget, 2018 was your pro, it was junior championship, Chi-Town back home. Explain us that real quick.
Yeah, so 2018 is when I won my pro card. So it was 2018 in Chicago in junior nationals. There's only like 5 national shows to earn your pro card as an amateur. So I selected, obviously, my hometown, Chicago. So they're all over. They're in like Vegas. There's, Tennessee, Florida, all over the place. But there's always one in Chicago. So I had to hit that one up. It meant a lot to me to try to win my pro card in my hometown like that. And that's what we did, you know?
So to win your pro card, do you have to come first overall, or is it top 3, or how does that work?
So what you do is you got to compete in the amateurs league. So wherever your state is at, like us in Michigan, I competed in the Michigan level. So I did a couple of shows there. And once you win a show, you're automatically qualified. Or if you place like a top 5, you automatically get qualified as well to make it to nationals. But you got to be pretty good at that, man. So usually some people are taking like 3rd or 4th in like an amateur show in Michigan, and then they think automatically that they can just step up onto the national stage, because you got to think you're getting the best of the best all around the world, coming around. Mm-hmm. So it's really cool. It's really neat that you get to compete against people from all around the world instead of just in your own, your own state. So that was really neat. And then also it pushes you to your limit, to bring the best of you. So it's really cool.
So that made you, in 2018, winning that one in Chicago, then the first classic physique competitor coming back home in the state of Michigan then, huh?
Yeah, so I was the very first one in 2018 to win my pro card for classic physique, to become the first competitor in Michigan. So that was a real blessing for me. That was really a cool experience that that you earned. It's definitely a tough thing to get out there and show yourself and try to compete with everybody to win that pro card. And they only give only one out, to everybody in that show. So you have to be first to get that. So it's a very tough thing to do, and I'm very blessed that I was able to accomplish it,
Hell yeah. And I have a quick question here, because I don't want to get any misnomers here. So there's 3 divisions from what I read. There's bodybuilding, classic physique, and physique. So do you consider yourself a bodybuilder, or is that just a division within?
Man, so, the whole thing, there's also 212 too. So there's another category. So it goes physique, classic physique, which I am, and then 212, and then bodybuilding. So these guys are...
The 212's for the shorties though, right?
Yeah, everybody is short in body. These guys look like they're 6'6", 300 pounds, and they're really like 5'6", 5'3", but they're just built like a brick house, obviously. Yeah. But yeah, so there's 4 divisions and stuff, and it's just all about how you, how you fit in. So that's what I like about the sport. It gave me a bunch of different options to go about, so you don't have to necessarily be really huge like those bodybuilders, which is a cool thing. But, some other people have different mindsets and different goals that they want to reach for their body and their style. For me, classic was right up my alley, man. I've always had classic is more of that old school look, like back in the day in the 70s and 80s, you see the guys on the beaches and stuff posing, some of the greats like Arnold, all those guys. Yeah, those Muscle Beach guys. So I've always loved that kind of look. Even when I first started working out, that was like always my dream, to have a body that looked like that. I never cared about the bodybuilder size, even though I love bodybuilding. So you can kind of say that each one of those categories, we're all bodybuilders. because we're all structuring our bodies the same way. We're all trying to get to a certain goal. We're all trying to work on our physique, just like the next person. Even though, you know, those bodybuilders are a lot heavier, a lot stronger, and bigger guys, bigger frame. But yeah, we're all bodybuilders in the same sense, man, honestly.
No, I appreciate it for clearing that up because I didn't want to be good through the show and then people like, no, I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm this or that. And so
right.
Don't want those people to come attack me.
It's what's so cool about our sport is that it gives people opportunity to try to become pro in different categories, you know? So if guys aren't made to have a good frame like that, they can do physique. Physique is those, you know, more cut, more toned guys that wear those board shorts, you know? And then you got classic physique where we have to be aesthetic looking all the way around, equal all the way around. You know, our physique, it's got to be perfect. It has to have that classic look to it, you know, that athletic ability on it. So I love that. And then obviously you got bodybuilding, and it's just about get big in all the right areas, you know? So, you know, for me and my style, man, classic fit right up my alley. I didn't really have to, you know, change too much of my style or my lifting to meet the factors of it. And it was really cool. So it was awesome that it came out. I think it came out in like 2016. So it's fairly new, you know, and it's really, really became popular. So many people are getting involved with it. They love the style. It's more easy of a body to get instead of working so hard and maybe taking extreme kind of drugs just to get to those bodybuilder size, you know, of people. And so it gives opportunity for everybody, you know, with different sizes and different body shapes and structures.
Yeah, when I was reading it seems like it's a little bit more like obtainable. Like it seems a lot more realistic to actually get to versus, you know, some of the magazines that you go see. You see bodybuilding magazine, and you're like, holy smokes.
Yeah.
That guy is closer to an animal than he is to me. I mean, with my 175-pound frame, I could probably get there with a couple runs of Mickey D's, right? But
yeah, you might need some Mickey D's in your bloodstream, but
yeah.
No,
exactly.
man. And that's what's cool about it is that, you know, it fits different people's styles and it's obtainable. And not to mention, like I told you before, I like the style and the look. It just looks more natural to be looked at. You know, it's still big. Those guys are huge. Don't get me wrong. Those classic physique guys, you see them in person, you know, like Chris Bumstead, the guy that's winning Olympias right now. He's a monster in real life. I mean, the guy is just huge. So there is big boys in classic physique. Don't get me wrong, but it's more attainable, you know, and the style is so like slick and awesome looking, athletic, you know, and it just really pops and really brings out that, you know, that style in you. So that's why a lot of people are loving it, you know.
Now, do you have to make certain weight classes there, or?
Yeah, so like for classic physique, it goes with your height and your weight. Okay, so for me, I'm in class C, so it's A, B, C, D classes, and those are just from ranges from different heights. And then you got to make a certain weight. So for me, I'm in class C, so I'm 5'11", and my weight class is 215 that I have to weigh in to make weight. So in the amateur level, though, the weight class changes. I think it's at 200 instead of 215, but when you turn pro, they up it up a little bit with the weight.
Okay. I saw, because I was reading why I brought up the weight divisions. I was reading about it goes up to 6'7", and I'm like, I've never seen a 6'7" bodybuilder. I'd be more interested in seeing that.
Yeah.
I saw their weight class was 260 or 270 or something, and I'm like, I just want to see a 6'7" guy out there competing.
Yeah, man. You know, there's a couple of bodybuilders that are just giants out there that are from like other countries and stuff that are like 6'7" or like 6'6". You got a guy on Mutant right now. He's like 6'6". He's like a giant, and he does bodybuilding. So it's kind of cool to see nowadays different structures and sizes because, you know, back then and for the longest time, you know, it's always been like a 5'5" guy, 5'6", you know, that's always dominated that kind of stuff. So it's cool to see somebody my height even, you know, being 5'10", 5'11", to be able to reach goals like that nowadays because that used to never be heard. I'm too tall, you know, for certain bodybuilding, you know? And so it's cool nowadays that you see that structure and things that I'm able to do to get to that, to win and get to my goal of being at 5'10", 5'11".
Because the Ronnie Colemans, the Jay Cutlers, all of them, they were what, 5'6", 5'5", or how tall are they? They're not very tall, are they?
Ronnie Coleman's probably like your 5'11". You know, he's about my
he is
height
bigger.
and stuff.
Okay.
But Jay is a little bit smaller. He's at like that 5'8" kind of range.
Okay.
Yeah, like a Barry Sanders, but stocky.
Yeah. I think maybe the only man on the planet that might beat Barry in thighs. Like, maybe.
Right.
So I guess really to kind of bring it all back a little bit, like what brought you into this, right? Like what got you into lifting? What was this drive? When did it start? What was the age? How did you, like, when was that aha moment that you're like, yep, this is where I'm going?
Right. So, man, it started when I was young. Obviously, like you guys, man, I played sports, right? And I've always had a good athletic ability, but I wasn't able to show it with my body style, my body type. I was always like small. I was really, lightweight. It was hard for me to put on weight, especially as a young kid. I mean, I could eat anything and everything, and then the next day, I can sneeze and lose 4 pounds, So for me,
still going through that right now.
Yeah, I see you over there, 180s over there. But yeah, man.
How'd you know?
So, working out, man, I started working out because, like, when I started doing it, I knew that it was benefiting me and it was helping me with sports, especially like with football. I've always played running back, so obviously you're taking hits by big dudes on the line and the linebackers and stuff like that. So it's not fun. It's not fun getting hit, getting those guys laying on you, and they're not getting off of you and stuff like that. So, when I started working out, I started noticing, I was always doing like a lot of leg movements. I wasn't really working on my upper body so much. I was probably about 14, 15 years old when I first started getting into it and wanted to improve myself with football. So I started doing like a lot of like leg workouts, squats and stuff. And then I knew after doing that for a couple of months and stuff that I was getting developed down there. And so when I was running the ball, I was getting more harder to tackle. People were bouncing off me now, and it felt good. I was able to absorb all that pressure and power and stuff like that was coming to me. So I'm like, man, this is my gift right here. I need to add this into my athletic ability, and hopefully we can make something happen with it. So I've always worked out, man, at a young age because I knew it helped me with sports, but also it helped me with myself. And I tell people this all the time, man, working out in the gyms really changes you as a person. Now, obviously, we're changing our bodies. We're feeling good. We're keeping ourselves healthy. And that's all a plus, right? We all love that. We love to look good. We love to put our clothes on and it fits differently. Love to see the curves. So all those things were exciting for me at a young age, especially being a little guy, at 120 pounds and, 5'9" or whatever I was back then, So by doing that, I was like, man, I like that. But also, you got attention from it too. And it just depends on how you take that attention. That's why I always tell people, you can either take it that cocky, arrogant way and be like, yeah, I know I'm all that and I'm getting big and I'm strong. Or, you could take it a different route and get motivated and be humbled, you know what I'm saying, with that. And I've always was humble with it, man. And I've always just took my baby steps with it. I tell people, man, it took me a long process to get where I'm at today. It's all about consistency and just the love of the sport to just do it. And that's what I've always had. I've always had that drive because I knew besides getting like attention out there and doing good in sports, it also brought me out. And you don't get that with anybody else. You can't get that from people, your parents. It's only up to you to be able to bring yourself out, So I was always shy too when I was younger. I was shy, or, when we got class in school to speak out loud, I'm like, doing this. I want to be the last one. But now it's like I'm so different, and people that know me now are like, what? That's night and day. And I tell them it's just the development of me working out. And as I got older, each grade that we keep getting up at, junior, senior year, I'm more expressive. I'm more confident in myself. My head is up higher. And it's really cool to see that, especially us transforming at a young age like that, being in school, right? Because you got a lot of different groups of people. We're all different ages. We're all trying to find ourselves and figure ourselves out. And it was really cool that I found myself out right away. And I just stuck with that. And, working out also kept me stress free. It kept me clear minded. It also gave me goals to reach and to focus on. So just like you guys, I was always an athlete too. I've always wanted to focus on things and get, be able to achieve stuff every year, And so working out was like that for me. It just helped me in that category to stay focused, to be a better person, a better athlete. It expressed me, so much more as I got older. And now it's like, I love this stuff, man. I love talking like I'm talking to you guys. I love doing, I love to motivate people and inspire them to reach their goals and to do great things for their lives. And the cool thing, man, what I always teach is that, we're always special. All of us is special, man. We all got a niche one way or another. And we just do. Whether you can talk, whether you can fix things, whether you're just a brainiac at stuff or you're an inventor, whatever it is, we all got a specialty. And that's why I always say, like, one of my phrases is always be you, do you, and stay true to yourself, making you one of a kind. Because a lot of us, we don't get to express ourselves, or we hide that in ourselves, that specialty. And it's like God gave us that gift to bring that out. That's what makes you you, you know what I'm saying? And it's crazy to see that so many people hide that because they're ashamed or they just don't know how to bring it out because they don't want to be made fun of or they don't think it's cool enough or it's right. And it is. There's all kinds of different people, and that's the specialty and love that we have in America, that makes us unique, and there's a bunch of groups of us that are all alike in certain ways. So that's why I always tell people to express it. But bringing me back to working out, that's what really got me to be who I am today. And it's crazy to see that people think like, oh, working out and lifting weights. Yeah, right. They're always thinking about the struggles, right? Of how hard it is. I'm going to be sore the next day. I'm going to be sweating, all this stuff. My muscles are going to ache, all that. So, for me, it was always like, I don't think about that stuff. That's just work. That's like life. We go through bumps and bruises and it's not always smooth. So I knew that came with working out. But what I loved about it that people didn't see was what I just explained to you, that it gave me so much more than just worrying about the bumps and bruises. We handle that in football our whole lives, So to me, that was nothing. So, when it brought out a lot of positivity in me and a lot of personal stuff, man, I was like, this is my drug. This is my drug, fellas. I love this stuff right here. You know what I'm saying? So, I would be working out, man, almost every day, maybe taking one day off, but I'd be working out Friday, Saturday nights when my buddies are all going out and they're hanging out and going to parties. I'd be like, nope, I'm going to be in my shed working out and getting big, So that was my drug. That was my tool, as you can say, that developed me as a young kid all the way into who I am now.
I think one of my favorite things about you, Rue, is on Instagram, anytime I'm having a bad day, and I hope you take this as a compliment, is I get on there and it's always all smiles. The joy you bring people. Johnny, I'll give a shout out to Johnny on here.
Yeah, Johnny.
The joy you bring to Johnny, the joy you bring to your clientele and everything else. People, it's to your point, to your drug, it's addicting. You can see the people around you love to be around you. And I want you to really know that's inspiring to all of us. And it's awesome to see.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. And I love that you see that from me, but obviously that's not what I'm doing it for, which I know that's what you guys are saying. But I love, I've always prayed for that. Every night I pray for that. I tell God, bring a person to me each and every day so I can change their lives, where I can motivate and inspire them so they can do special things in their world. A lot of us just need a helping hand. That's what it really is. We just need someone to talk to or a helping hand, something so little and so easy that we all just rush and we pass up on. You might even have your best friend be like, hey, man, can I talk to you? And you're just too busy doing stuff and you just walk away. And that could have been one of his biggest moments in his life that he wanted to, talk heart to heart with you about something. You know what I'm saying? And we're always on the go so much, especially in America and in this world today. So for me, man, I do that every night. I pray to God. I tell him at least try to bring one person in my life that I can change, I can inspire, I can motivate them to their greatness and be able to bring out them. I take on that challenge. That's just something who made me. I've always been a people person. I always loved working with people. That's just who I've always been. I love to be able to cheer people up and to know that, hey, man, we all have bad days, but you're just important as I am. And you mean a lot to this world just like I do, so we're all puzzle pieces. Let's just plug in and help each other out. The world is too stressed nowadays, man. We're always so quick to react. We're always just angry. You can't even stop somebody nowadays without them trying to like fight you, right? And it's just so crazy to me to see how people's like tempers and how they act and their morals are nowadays. And I guess you just got to adapt, right? You just got to know that the world's getting like that. So you still got to be you, obviously, out there. But, I love to just change that. I love to just keep me as who I am. And no matter how evil and dark the world is getting, man, it's just still bring that sunshine out, however I can. So,
well, and I think it's super interesting, like with your just entire your thought process and how you live your life it's so positive, and it's so like, hey, let's disconnect from all the BS. Let's just go ahead and let's just focus on one person today or one thing today, or just get incrementally better. There's no other place better to do that than in the gym.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's statistical. Like you can measure it. You can spend the time. You can do it with other people.
Yeah.
It's gonna hurt. You're going through pain together. You're going through successes together, and
Right.
it's all in the same safe, confined area, and it's all positive.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's. I think this whole thing that you're speaking to, and that you've that you've done with individual people that we've seen on the YouTube and Instagram, it's like, well, no, duh, of course, like this is right here. This is built for him. No, there's no reason why we need to edit your screen a little bit wider than we need to edit mine. So it's awesome, but
it's really cool, man. It's cool to see what the gym. That's what I try to tell people is that, don't think of the gym with all that pressure and that negativity and that hard stuff, because is it hard? But so is life. And I tell people, more than 90% of us are living jobs every day that we argue and that we complain and bitch about, right? So I always tell people, I'm like, hey, no matter how much you come home or how much you wake up and you say, damn, I got to go see this person. I got to go deal with this at work. I got to handle this issue, or I can't stand this person. You're going to be like that no matter what. So like, I tell people that the gym, if you focus on the good, no matter what, you're getting up to pay your bills and going to work either way, right? To do that after all that complaining. So put that effort into the gym. But most people don't. They just start complaining, and then they get to the door, and then they turn right around and just go back to their car, right? Or they just drive past the gym and say, oh, maybe tomorrow I'll do it and stuff like that.
Yeah, but McDonald's got a 2 for $5 going. I'm going.
2 for $5 going on. I gotta get that Big Mac.
I got the Arby's coupons came in the mail this week. I got the flyer. We're good.
Right.
And that Shamrock Shake is coming. That Shamrock Shake.
Shamrock Shake is out. Confirmed, it's out. Not by me, but by my neighbor. It is out.
That St. Patrick's Day. But man, the gym is like, that's what I always tell people, is that drug that, you're doing a lot of benefits for yourself, and you're keeping yourself healthy no matter what. Whoever you are, how stubborn you are, you're going to, no matter what, have to find out what the gym is all about. Unless you're going to be that stubborn where you're just going to die. You know what I'm saying? Because when you go to the doctors and you go to the hospital and you see your nurses and get checkups, they're going to tell you, like, hey, you're overweight, your arteries are clogged up, your high blood pressure, diabetes, whatever the heck that we have nowadays, right? And it's going to make you to get your butt into the gym. Now, you don't still have a choice. You can still say no. But to know that the benefits that it does for you and how it keeps you healthy, not to mention the good energy that you get, the endorphins, I mean, people don't realize that because they're so scared, or they're chickened, or they cop themselves out before even stepping in, and that's the thing that I hate seeing, because everybody can do it. And I always tell people, especially beginners, it's like, it's baby steps, man. It's all about having fun. Baby steps. Don't worry about the weight. Just make sure that you're concentrating on your form, learning the exercises, and having fun. Who cares about the weights? Nobody is looking at you. Nobody's worried about what you're lifting. You're not getting paid for it. You're just here like everybody else for a certain reason. And I always tell people, too, that the gym is really cool because you get a walk of life of every kind in the gym. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
So I always say
Totally.
we're like a tree. We're a bunch of roots coming into a big tree, right? So we're all trying to come together to come to the gym and work out and have fun. And we come to this one place, which is the gym, right? And it's the same place that we're there. All of us are there for different reasons. So that's why I try to tell people is that, hey, we're here for different reasons. It's not like back in the day when you walk into a gym, it's like, yo, you're here for one thing, and that's to lift some steel and to really get that pump going, you know, like Arnold.
Lunk alarms.
Lunk alarms, all that.
So you
that's
you
actually
bring
a real,
go ahead.
Go ahead, Reedy. Go ahead.
You bring up a good point because I mean, Gold's Powerhouse, those had those old mindsets of no
Yeah.
one wanted to go work out there because they'd come in and walk into some dude that a whole bunch of pissed off dudes just lifting steel, not talkative, not anything. And I think, you know, seeing you smile, seeing how much you enjoy it, going around, taking these videos and introducing, it's almost like you're taking some of these people under your wing. And I guess that's where taking it back to where Foot was taking it before, like, how did you get into that first teenage show, or did someone take you under your wing to say, hey, you should really try this, or how did that come about?
Yeah, so check this out. Just like what you were saying, like, so I started when I was like 14, you know, working out with weights at home and stuff. And then when I was 15, I got my first job at Burger King, working at Burger King right down the street from Gold's Gym. All right.
Oh yeah.
And so I would work my shift, you know, after school or whatever for like 4 hours, and then I'd go to this gym. Now, back then, I knew the mentality of the gyms, and I was okay with that because that's how I learned how to work out, you know, with the magazines and all that stuff. Back then, technology was not even here, right? It was just you worked out one way and the only way, and that's it. So
If you wanted to get a hold of me, you'd have to hit me on the Nextel beeper, and you might or may not answer.
right. You got to hit you up on the page over there to get you going.
Right.
You know, but you know that's how I knew. So I knew what I was getting into, and I was okay with that. You know, and so you know I used to go Burger King, and then when I was done working, I would go to Gold's Gym, like you said. You know, one of those gyms that you hear about. And absolutely, man, you walk in there. And it's just meatheads everywhere, you know, bumping shoulders, walking around with arms hanging out, flying all the way up in the air, you know, people flexing. And so when I started, you know, I'm 15, just starting to get into it. I met these guys at the gym, a lot older. They were construction workers. So these dudes were all like meatheads. They were like a group of them, of 3 or 4 of them. And they would be there every day at the same time as me. And so they would like, you know, look at me and see what I was doing. And they kind of took me under their wing because they knew I had that mentality and I had that heart like they did, you know, how to lift and go heavy and stuff. So I would show up with them. After a while, I would be the part of their workout crew. You know, they would be on my ass like crazy too. They would be like, hey, you better be here at 8 o'clock. Don't be 5 minutes late. And then whatever they were working out on, I would have to do too. I would be like, some days I'd be like, dude, I'm not lifting that. There's no way I can lift that. They're like, nope, get down and just do it and shut up. So I was like, all right. And they would be over me, obviously helping me out, but they were making me really feel that weight, really making me feel that grind, that soreness, that hard work, that dedication that people usually quit, you know, after feeling all that from working out. But I kept just zipping my mouth up and I kept showing up. And I was showing up on time. I was ready to lift. I didn't complain. I just did my shit with whatever they did. And I earned their respect like that, man. So it was really cool to see that, you know, they kind of took me under their wing and helped me out. But they gave me that mentality that I don't suggest anymore nowadays because obviously we got technology. We know how the body works better. We know what, you know, to keep you healthier, safer, you know, not injuring yourself. But they gave me that mentality of, you know, if this is what you want, this is what you got to do. And this is how you're going to get it. You know, your strength, your size and your bigness, you know, and I was down for it. You know, I was ready for the ride. So I shut up and put up and that's it. But after a while, they gave me respect. But also, man, to answer your question, what got me into bodybuilding, I was always gifted with good genetics and my body was always cut at a young age and roundness. You know, when I was working out, I was really getting results fast. So as a young kid, I was pretty rounded with muscles and I was, you know, pretty in shape as well for being a younger kid. And guys at the gym would always come up to me, different guys, be like, man, you ever thought about bodybuilding? you ever thought about doing bodybuilding? You need to do that. You need to do that. And I'm like, hell no. I'm like, bodybuilding? I'm like, dude, I'm a football.
I got Burger King in 25 minutes, dude. I gotta get home.
Right? I'm like, dude, I'm a football player.
And not to cut you off, Root, I also worked at the same BK Lounge. Also, we're a couple years apart, but
yeah,
I put my time in at the BK Lounge too.
Oh, I know. You put time in that drive-through over there when I was handing out them pies and stuff for free.
Bingo.
The late night special, boy.
Exactly.
Load up the bag and pull in the drive-through.
Load them up. Oh, you want a 5-piece tender? Sorry, I thought you said 50.
Right. So yeah, man, everybody used to always tell me in the gym, why don't you think about doing that bodybuilding? And I'm like, no, I'm a football player. I'm trying to build myself. I'm trying to gain as much weight as I can. I don't want to lose weight. I don't want to cut down. I don't care about showing off my muscles. And you got to think back then, you're talking about early 90s and stuff like that. Nobody cared about bodybuilding like how it is now. I mean, now to back then, it's blown up. It's $1 billion industry now. You know what I'm saying? With supplements and bodybuilding, and everybody wants to be a bodybuilder nowadays. Everybody wants to be a fitness competitor. Everybody wants to be a fitness model. So it is crazy to see how much it took off nowadays. But back then, it was like, you were a weirdo. You're trying to bodybuild. Like, who are you? Like, why do you want to do that? But I got talked into it by so much of those guys. I finally was like, you know what? Let's go do it. So I did, man. I went in my first show. I was probably 16 years old, and I think it was an NPC show. So I won Teenage Mr. Michigan when I was 17 and 18 years old, back to back, and that qualified me for nationals for the whole world. And I took 4th that year overall in the world. So that was like huge back then. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, you took 4th overall for teenagers. You know what I'm saying? And
could you imagine if Instagram and Twitter were blown up at that particular point?
No, none of that stuff was around. You're talking about when I was, 15 years old, 16.
No, that's what I'm saying. Could you imagine if that was the case, though, if it was there?
So, for me, for me, it was like, I just did this to just have fun, just to get out here and see what I can do. But I'm a football player. I'm an athlete. I want to gain weight and be powerful out in the field. And so, after I did that national show and took 4th in the world, man, I had a lot of different people reaching out, giving me their cards backstage. I had Flex Magazine, Muscle Magazine, all those companies back then. Back then, the magazines were where was that, that people do. Yeah. Now they're all, existent now. But I didn't know about all that stuff. So I was like, okay, cool. I had a bunch of cards in my hands, and I was like, yeah, whatever, And I threw them all out because I didn't care. I'm like, I'm going back home. This was in Pittsburgh when I competed, and I took 4th in teenage overall. I went back home, and I'm like, yeah, forget that. So I forgot about bodybuilding, for a couple of years. And then I picked it up again later in life. So it's kind of because after that, when I was a teenager, I stopped and I was really focusing on football. I was focusing on playing, semi-pro and all that stuff after high school. And I didn't care about bodybuilding because nobody cared about it. And it wasn't as popular as it is now. But I can only imagine if I stayed with it back then to who I could have been, right now with this sport. But, God makes our road for a reason, and that's what we do. And we go down that journey, and that's what happens. So it's also really cool to see later in my life, I came back to this. And I came back to it at the right time when it blew up, and it picked up really, really big right now. So I love it. It gives me a challenge, and even me being old and not playing sports anymore like I used to, it still gives me a reason to compete, gives me a reason to focus, gives me a reason to better myself, to come in. It gives me a chance to challenge and compete myself with other people. So to me, it's like a win-win, bro, because, at heart, just like you guys, we always want to just be doing something active. We want to throw the football around, shoot some hoops, be boys again, So it's cool. I get to compete still and live my dream as an athlete, and I'm very blessed for that. And I got a good team behind me, Blackstone Labs, and they've been supporting me ever since I turned pro. I've been with them now for 5 years, going on 5 years. And it's really neat. It's really neat to see that, how it all developed for me. As me being an older person, for me to win my pro card where I'm at now, they were telling me that I couldn't do it. I'm way too old, out of the league. You know, they're looking at 20-something-year-old guys, and these kids are phenomenal. These dudes are, you know, they're giants nowadays. They're looking like men, you know, at 20 years old, 23, 24.
Testosterone. Just
Right. The
pumping,
milk.
bro.
Ain't mama's milk no more.
Woo! Nope.
And I tell you what, man. So, you know, I always took that in the back of my head and always strive for greatness and try to compete with that. And I obviously I did what I did, and I proved a lot of people wrong that it doesn't matter what age you're at, you can still accomplish what you need to do in your dreams, you know?
I got a question. You mentioned getting business cards back when you were 18. Were there any funny ones? Thunder from Down Under, Playgirl.
Trying to get Rue to go to Australia and do some shows over there. No, man, I used to be back in the day, man, I would get a couple of modeling gigs that would be kind of goofy like that, you know what I'm saying? But back then, you'd have to, you know, really look into the modeling stuff back then because you'd have a lot of creepers and stuff like that. You'd get some weirdos and stuff that want you just to, like, pose and flex and stuff like that, you know? But, you know, obviously you weed those people out. I was blessed to work with
this one guy, Jay. I don't remember his last name, but something like that, right?
Something like that. Yeah, but no, I got lucky to work with a great guy though at StrengthNet, and I met him when I was in Pittsburgh doing the national show, and I took fourth. And I've been with him ever since, even when I turned pro and later in my life. He's done some of my videos in New York and stuff. He's located in New York. He works out of, you know, Bev's Gym, which is one of the most popular gyms out there in the world. A lot of the pros work out there. Steve Weinberg is the head judge who does the Olympia head judge. That's his gym out there. A lot of people go there just to pose in front of him. And I was blessed to be able to work with him and get out there and be seen, you know, with the judge, Steve Weinberg, and meet some cool athletes and stuff like that. So it was really cool.
Your picture's up there, isn't it? Is that where someone just was visiting and saw your picture?
That. No, that's at Iron Pride in Milford.
Ah, okay.
Yep, Iron Pride in Milford. Yeah, I was lucky enough to get on that wall. That was really cool.
So when you're leading up, so what I'm curious about is from someone who has been absent from the gym for quite some time. What is there a difference between, or is there even just like a normal workout day for someone who's a professional versus leading up to competition? And like, how do those different types of, how do those workouts either yin or yang, or do they come together and they're basically, you're just doing the same thing at different intensities?
So you're saying like when I'm in like an off season and I'm not getting ready for a show, my workout then compared to if I'm getting ready for a show?
Yeah,
so
what's the difference of intensity?
Yeah, they're all pretty much similar. You know, even when you're on a diet and you're getting ready for a show 3 months out, you're usually kicking ass all the way through. You know what I'm saying? You're lifting the same way. You're lifting heavy. You're trying to improve in certain areas. That's what I love about bodybuilding and what I do is that I get to work. It's not like I'm working out muscle groups, which I am, but I'm working out a lot of detailed muscle groups. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, a lot of people think like shoulders is just one muscle, but there's 3 different muscles there, you know, just like your chest. You have 3 different separations there of the levels of your chest, you know, and that's what I love. I was always addicted to that. I always wanted to be well-rounded. I wanted to be perfect in every aspect. Usually when you see guys at the gym, there's always like a couple of dudes that are in shape, right? But they usually have like one sweet body part, right? Oh, that dude has a huge chest, or damn, that dude's got a back, or look at his arms. I wanted to be that guy like, damn, that dude's got everything. Even look at his calves all the way to his top. You know, that dude is like an athlete. He's sculpted, you know, he's perfect. And so that was always in my head. I didn't care about having big this or that. I wanted to be equal. I felt like that was going to show more than just having a big body part on you. You know, I always wanted to be different in that aspect for people, for sure.
So go ahead.
Sorry, Dennis. Let me on. Go ahead. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. You
right,
come.
Rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors.
I'm excited about it. So,
but yeah, like you said though, it is the same style workout. But when you're getting into your diet, and you're like into that last month, obviously you're going to be depleted with your strength and your energy. So you're not going to be able to lift that same way. So you have to lower the weight, do more reps, but you're still working out all the way through. So you might change it up at that point.
How much more strenuous is it, even though your body knows that these workouts are coming? You're doing lesser weights, but you got to make this weight. Like, how much more strenuous is that to you? How much more mental toll does that take?
Man, I tell you, bro, like bodybuilding, there's only 5% of us out there that can do this sport. There really is. It's a very challenging. It's like being in the military. It's very tough. It's very hard. I tell a lot of people it's a serious game. You know what I'm saying? It's a mental game. But you got to have the right support system around you. You got to know what you signed up for. But man, there's a lot of hard, strenuous days where you're tired, you're depleted. You feel like a walking zombie a lot of times, like people do say. You can't think much, you're foggy. So it really does get to you. Your attitude, you're cranky, everything hurts, when you're walking and moving. And now I'm talking about when you're like a couple of weeks out for a show,
Oh, I thought you were talking about me like when I had my first kid. That was the exact thing.
That's still going on for you right now, huh?
Yeah, no, we got another one coming next week, baby.
Yeah, baby. I love it. Yeah, it's tough work, man. It's a mental thing for sure, because you start getting cravings too. You're depleted with your sugars and your certain carbs, and carbs is your energy. That's your strength for you to move. That's your gasoline, not to mention the sugars, they play a big part of you, your brain, the way you function, also giving you headaches sometimes, but you can overcome that because obviously we're all spoiled in America. We get whatever we want to eat. Nobody slaps our hands. We get to have any kind of thing that there is possible out there, right? And when you're dieting, you got a certain amount of, meals to eat. That's it. You're eating the same stuff almost every day. And you got to get used to that. You can't think about chocolates or, hey, I want a bowl of cereal or I want this or that. You got to be like, it's game time. This is what I signed up for. There's no mistakes because you can't go back, by messing up. And a lot of people get caught like that. A lot of people cheat. They freak out or they can't take it anymore and they end up eating, stuff that they're not supposed to. And then it makes them, a couple of weeks behind. And that's why they don't look good on stage and stuff. So it's a very, very big challenge, but I'm telling you, man, when you accomplish it and you're doing it from detail all the way through the right way, there's no better feeling. And it strengthens you. It strengthens your mind. It strengthens the person that you are. It does incredible things for you, but it's a pain in the ass to get to. It's a hard struggle. And it's cool because it makes you be on your toes and it makes you be, real with yourself. Yeah, you can either cheat because nobody's twisting your arms, nobody's stopping you. You can do whatever you want. Or you can, fight through this like if it's the military and go through it and work it all the way through. And to me, it's always been rewarding when I do that, I'm not saying it's the coolest thing all the time and I'm not happy to do it all the time, but it's a struggle and I take it as I'm going to gain something out of this. I'm going to make myself better in ways and stronger in ways that I haven't reached yet. So every time I do a prep, every time I do a show, it brings that out of me, or at least I'm thinking that way so I can at least accomplish it, because if you go in, weak-minded or you're not ready when it starts, you ain't got no time back once the papers are signed and you're ready to go on this date. You know what I'm saying? So It's definitely up to you. And especially in my position, if I'm not taking that seriously or if I'm not coming in the right way for a show, then I'm going to have some problems. You know what I'm saying? For one, me showing myself off on stage. Two, my sponsors, they're not going to be happy the way I'm looking half-assed, Right. So, you got people behind you. So that kind of motivates me too as well, that I got people behind me that are supporting me. And that's what you need, a good support team, a good support person or people, to help you. But it's a tough thing, but also rewarding,
So you weigh in 215 at the competition. What is your off-season weight, roughly?
So, man, roughly my off-season weight, like right now I'm about 245. I've gotten up to like 255 before in the winter times, but it's been probably probably about a year since I did that. So I've been steady at like 245 right now in the
Are
off
most
season.
of the shows in the summer?
No, they're all year round. Yeah,
Okay.
they're all year round. Like the Olympia is in like November, December, like in the winter
Okay.
time. But they got shows all year round. There's shows going on, coming up pretty soon right now, all through the summer.
So they don't care about our holidays. They don't care about what we want to do. They don't
No.
care about.
Especially,
Stuff
man,
and
we're
gravy.
all over too, bro. We're all over in all the other countries and continents and stuff like that. That's what's really cool about bodybuilding is that it's just picking up. I mean, we're in India, Pakistan, Dubai, all that stuff. So it's really cool to see how bodybuilding is spread out, especially to these countries that never even worked out or even cared about it. Now they're just freaks about it, And it's weird to
Sure.
see like a place in India. Indian people are very excited about bodybuilding and bodybuilders coming there and doing, activities and stuff over there or doing shows, So we're starting to grow more and more, which is really cool. And it's cool to see that we're reaching out to all the continents and countries and stuff out there.
How many shows do you try to do a year?
So for me, man, I usually try to do like at least one, maybe two shows. There's some people that, you kind of want to back them up there. So if I'm going to do two shows, I want to do a show and then maybe my next show would be like 2 weeks later, So it gives me time to rebound after that show and get ready to get into this next one. But you don't want to do like a show and then wait like a month to do another one because it's so hard to keep that body looking crisp and good, throughout that time. So there's a lot of guys that would do back-to-back shows or even 3 or 4, but I think that's a lot on the body. It's a lot to keep your body like that for so long. But guys do that, But for me, I'll stay to like once a year or maybe twice if I'm getting risky, if I'm feeling younger.
Do you have any interest? You mentioned out of the country. Do you have any interest in getting out of the country before the career is done?
Man, I would love to compete out in the country, man, like in one of the places out there. I would love to compete like that. So, that's still a little goal in my mind to be able to do. We got some cool shows too. We got shows in like Puerto Rico. That would be a really cool one to go travel to and do, even though I know it's the US and stuff. But yeah, man, we got all kinds of stuff in Hawaii. They're all over. So it would be cool to do one of those. But it's really fun for me to travel and compete in all these different states even, even though I'm not in like a different country or not. And it's also cool that I'm competing in different states, that I never competed in before. So that's been really neat, like I've been to New York and Pittsburgh, obviously Chicago, Florida, so I've been able to travel to certain, Georgia was another one. So I've been able to travel to some cool spots and be able to compete like that instead of just being in Michigan. Although I wish Michigan did have a pro show for us guys and stuff, but they don't. Maybe they'll have one pretty soon here. I'm not sure, but that would be awesome to do a pro show at my hometown in Michigan.
Oh, we'd be there.
Yeah,
Throwing out,
that.
throwing out protein shake koozies.
Hanging up the
Throwing
shirt,
out
baby.
protein shake koozies to everybody. Mine's not going to be a protein shake. Mine's gonna be more but,
You'll have a koozie though.
but there's going to be koozies. I
Yeah,
don't care what
baby.
you put in it. So I got another question for you. So like we talk about the shows and like there's all these shows, right? But the people that are deciding who wins are the judges.
Right.
Right? So is there like known issues with particular judges or groups of judges? How are judges determined?
Man.
I guess maybe if I could start that way.
Well,
I don't want to
like-
put you in a position.
No, there's a judge committee, I don't know how it all works, but like who gets to pick what and stuff. But the main judges are usually, they travel around the shows together and stuff, Usually you want to be cool with all of them. You want to be able to introduce yourself so they can know your face, know who you are, because that helps out. It's unfortunate that our competition comes down to people judging us, right? So it's like, are they looking at you? Do they pay attention to you? Was the guy sleeping? His eyes were rolling in the front, who knows, right? Or does he know you, or are you just a complete stranger compared to the next guy that he knows? So there is a little bit, favoritism with that kind of stuff. But I'm not going to say that it should never stop you from getting to where you need to be at. You should never let the judges take a place from you if you're not coming in correct or showing off your best. If you show your best, you show your best, and that's all you can do, right? But a lot of people harp, and a lot of people get down on the judges and what they say and where they got placed at. And some people get angry about that, you know. Some people storm off of the stage, or they slam things, you know, they get upset, or they're talking crap about the judges. And because they think that they should be placed better, or they should have got looked at more. But, you know, I'm not going to say that that's going to stop you from getting to where you need to be at. You should always just come 100 no matter what and let yourself shine. I always believe if you're going to let yourself shine bright, that, you know, somebody's going to see and get you to where you need to be at. But yes, the stuff like that happen, of course. But is it like that in every sport that you play or you do or you compete at? Absolutely. There's going to be favoritism. There's going to be somebody that knows somebody that's going to give them a little extra, you know, look or, you know, if it's going to be neck to neck with two people, hey, do I know Rue and how he is as a person compared to this Joe Schmo? Or am I just going to go with Joe Schmo and forget about Rue? You know what I'm saying? They're going to go with Rue, right? So, you know, at that kind of part, it can help you out to win. For me, I don't believe any of my shows came down to something like that. I always thought, you know, it was just a clear win, or whoever won that day should have won.
That's the best.
Yeah. But there is, you know, in our sport, there's a lot of controversies about it. People get upset because you got to think these people are busting ass for 3 months, right? They're on this strict diet. They're depleted. They're on stage. They're trying to show the best package that they can bring. You know, they've been working their ass off, you know, and when you're in competition and prep, you know, it takes a lot out of you. You need a lot of hours to, you know, you need to rest up. You need to make sure that you're eating your meals on time. You need to make sure that you're hitting the gym. You got to make sure you're doing your cardio at certain times. It could be morning and night. So that's a lot of times, you know, away from your friends or families or whoever, you know. And when you go out there and show yourself, all that matters, you know, all the time that you wasted from being with your family and friends and all the hard work you put in. And a lot of people get their butts hurt because of that, how hard they work, and they believe that they should have been placed at a different, you know, spot or two. But, you know, all in all, they're judges, and that's what they're there for, and that's what they do, you know. So
do you think it's a fair statement that men's, and again, I'm going to use bodybuilding as just the arching umbrella, that men's bodybuilding is equal to women's figure skating when it comes to judging and politics potentially? And
you know, you can
like that. Is that a fair?
That's a great comparison, man. Honestly, it's the same thing, right? You're out there to perform, right? So you got to make sure that you're doing your routines right? That's big on skaters, just like us. We got a routine that we need to do. We got a certain amount of time to show all the best aspects of you. You know, you got to show yourself, and you only got like a minute and a half to go on stage to show yourself. So you're talking about you're busting your ass for, you know, the whole year to get ready for this show and doing a hardcore diet for 3 months. And all that work comes down to one night. And that's one night on stage for about 2 minutes. So that's what you get total. 2 minutes of all that hard work and struggles and dedication you do.
Of a handful of persons' opinions.
Of a handful of persons' opinion, and how many competitors are competing at the same time, you know?
Right.
So it's like, dude, I got 2 minutes, you know, to show myself, to see that they like Rue some way, somehow, compared to all these other guys out here, you know? So I can get picked, at least one of the top 5s, at least, you know? So, yeah, man, there's a lot of pressure with it, but it's like what you said. It's exactly like ice skating. You know, you're out there to perform. You got to make sure you're hitting your, you know, your turns and your you know, of your flips and all that cool stuff that they do. But
triple
you know,
sow cows would be
you know. And you're getting judged by it, you know. So it's all about the controversy on what they're thinking and who they are as the judges. So like I said, the biggest thing, man, is just to make your presence felt. It's to say what's up to them. It's talk to them. It's to be like, hey, my name is Joe, and da 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 da, you know, and let them feel you out, and let them like you on their own, and know who they're looking at in their face. So that's the only thing that I can do to help out the situation. But other than that, man, it's game on, you know.
I do have a quick question on that. You mentioned earlier that it's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yeah.
You're getting judged. For the most part, you said you don't feel like you've ever been in a contest where the best person hasn't won. But Blackstone Labs, big producer of supplements. Other companies, big producers of supplements.
Right.
Do those companies ever try, or has there been any scandals in your sport where these labs or these companies have paid off judges because if their competitor wins, it's their name's all over it? So has that ever come into play? Not in anything you've been in, obviously. You said it hasn't, but have you heard of it before?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure, man. That's a good question, though, right there. That is. I'm not too sure when it comes down to that. I haven't like really heard any scandals like that, or like, hey, this guy's with this company, so we need to pump him through and win. But you never know. Also, with bodybuilding, though, that guy that you're talking about, he has to show up too. You know what I'm saying?
No,
so
I
if
get
there
it,
is
yeah.
a better guy than he is, you can't absolutely just put that dude in that position just because of that. So you will notice, and people will, get suspicious with that kind of stuff.
There's no refs given a travel here or a
Right,
turnover there.
right. Flagrant
Like, you gotta
foul
show
over
up.
LeBron.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to say that.
So I do have a question, though, about this. Say, for instance, when you won out in Long Island in 2018. So I'll call him, because you always call him the boss man. Does the boss man ever come back to you and say, hey, we saw a spike in Blackstone Labs sales after you won because your name was all over it and everything else? Do you ever get any of that shared with you?
No, I never had like something like take off like that. I'm still like a new name into the sport. I mean, obviously guys that maybe go to the Olympia and win the title and stuff like that, those are the guys that are going to get that kind of noticeness, But with me, it gave me more publicity, it gave me more fans. And it might have spiked up our sales a little bit, with people buying stuff from using my code and stuff like that. But nothing significant where it's like, dude, you just made us $1 million, because you just won that show. But it was great for me on my own self to go out there to New York and compete. No one's really done that too much either. Everybody always competes in Michigan because that's where they're from and stuff. But I wanted to take that chance. I was invited out there to New York to do this show. And I wanted to do it. So I was like, yeah, let's challenge myself. And I get to compete with New York people. I didn't even have to do that show. So I already qualified for nationals, for junior nationals, to get my pro card. So I didn't even have to do that show at all. That show was like 3 weeks before my junior nationals show was. And so people were like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that show? Are you crazy? You don't even need to. Just get ready for your main show. But I was specially invited by Steve Weinberg to get out there. He's the head judge for the Olympia, so I couldn't say no to him. I was like, hell yeah, let me get out there and compete, And it was cool because I got to do another photo shoot kind of a thing at Bev's at his gym out there. He got to look at me one-on-one posing. So I got to live a lot of cool dreams that people would die for in this sport that I got a chance to do at an early age of being a rookie, you can say, in bodybuilding. But yeah, man, I took that challenge and I went with it, and it just did me good. It made me win, obviously, and I won overall. But then when I went into junior nationals, it kind of made me stand out a little bit coming off that show, entering this show. And obviously my head judge was Steve Weinberg too over there. Now, I'm not saying he kind of hooked me up because I went to his show and did that. Yeah, there's controversy right there, right? I'm trying to tell you the other style of it. No, but you can tell even if you look at my the footage and stuff. I was definitely, hopefully, to be number one picked. But yeah, man. So it helps out. Like I said, it helps out with the judges knowing you and they know who you are. I talked to Steve a lot. I introduced myself to him in the beginning. I went over there to New York at his gym. So he got to see me a lot as an amateur. And what can I say? Like I said, man, maybe it helped me that night. I'm not sure, but I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is with that.
So with that question, all right, so you're doing all these shows, like we're starting to understand the greater picture of what it takes. I shouldn't say we're understanding. We have no idea what it actually truly takes because we're not in the gym. But the amount of time and energy it takes to be focused into maybe 1 to 2 events a year of just absolutely taking your entire life around this particular or 1 to 2 events.
Right.
Question I have, and I think a lot of people probably have this too, because I've always thought it. What's the tan situation like? Now, you're naturally gifted genetically. So help me understand what happens pre, during, and post tan. Because I have a feeling that there's going to be like multiple drains that need to be snaked after the show. Like, that's just what I think. But I don't know. So help me understand. Help us all understand that entire.
You talking about
how does the tan?
The
How does
tan?
the tan come to yeah? How does
Man.
the show tan? Show
The
tan. How does that
show
happen?
tan, yeah. So, like me, I've always been tan, right? I'm Italian, so I got that olive oil skin, right? But we got to get darker on stage. So usually, like the night before, you'll get sprayed, and it's all spray tan, right? You're in a tent, and they spray tan you. Everything is just hanging out. You might have a sock where the elephant trunk is at, but they're just
like an ankle, like an ankle sock, right? Like an
yeah, that rolled up third leg over there. So anyways, man, like you're getting sprayed, right? And usually, so you're getting sprayed the night before, and then you go back to the hotel room after you get sprayed, and you kind of got to like lay on sheets and stuff. So, because obviously their tan is going to be on the sheets a little bit, that brown spray. So you don't want to mess up the hotel stuff. So usually you bring like a sheet that you can use. And you just lay there, man, and it kind of like sticks on you a little bit. Some of it will wipe off, but when you wake up at the next day, it's usually like the butt crack of dawn. Like you're up there at like 5 or 6 in the morning, and then you get touched up because usually the shows are around like 9 o'clock in the morning, 10. Okay. So you're getting up super early, and that's like the worst. So that's the worst. So you're getting up at like 5 or 6 in the morning. You're like, oh man, it's show day. You got all kinds of bubble guts, stuff like that. And you're standing in the tent butt naked, and they just got this cold tan brush just spraying paint all on you early in the morning. You're like, oh, really? And so you're taking that. But once you're done with that, man, then you're ready to go. Then you're on stage in 2 hours. You're looking flawless because you put a layer on yesterday. You woke up. They did some touching up. They sprayed your whole body again, and you're good to go with that. Now, some guys during the show, they could sweat a little bit, and sometimes you'll see it. But there's people backstage there that touches us up. They got like their brushes and their, the tan sprays, and they're helping us out, before we step out there. They give us that gloss look, a little bit of that shininess to us. So yeah, it's really ran well and professionally. It's really cool how it's set up and stuff, the backstage and how they promote all the shows and stuff. It's really cool.
So the actual show is the one that does the tan for you.
There's a company that will come out. Okay. Yeah. So usually it's like Pro Tan. There's a couple of different companies out there, but yeah, it's usually a tanning company that will come out, and they'll set up a bunch of tents and stuff for guys and girls in different spots. And then, they'll just spray us all up, all the athletes and stuff.
So you have that naturally gifted skin that you talked about, but have you ever saw a guy get on stage, you're like, whoa, what the hell did he choose that color for?
Yeah, so, like my Irish ass. Are you kidding me?
like sunburn over there.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
The man comes out with just a dot on his nose.
Oh my gosh, it's reverse Rudolph.
Yeah, man. So usually the tan is one color. Everybody's got that same color, but. When you're in the amateur leagues, sometimes you'll see guys that will do it on their own, and they'll do that stuff. And yeah, you can tell a big difference. Like, man, like what did you just wipe on you? It's like more orange, a little bit orange looking than brown. So
well, I got an oil change 15 minutes before driving here, and they just gave it to me.
Right. So yeah, sometimes in the amateur shows you'll see a guy that's like sweating and he's got streaks and stuff on him, but. Other than that, man, we're all here for the same stuff. So it's all about cheering everybody on. And, they're doing the hardest thing, stepping on stage when, most of us can't even imagine getting judged by people and the crowd seeing us half naked, out there and judging your body on how it looks. You know, that's a lot of pressure and a lot of things that run through people's head. But everybody's real homey and cool. You know, it's like a brotherhood. Everybody's really helping hand. And I mean, you got your some assholes here and there, but mostly everybody's really cool and nice, you know. So that's really helpful for people back there.
How do you get that stuff off?
Oh man, so once you're done with the show, that's the first thing you're doing before you're eating anything is you're heading right back to the hotel and you're taking a shower. So when you take a shower, you just see it just like a layer coming off of you, right? The water is just all brown and stuff. And when you get out, you still have that stain on you a little bit. But it's kind of cool because it makes you look good still, you know. It's kind of like, hey, I had that Miami tan on me still, you know. And then a couple of days after washing it, it'll finally come out totally clear, you know, back to your skin. So it takes a couple of days for it to come totally off.
So how many guys are stuffing in the middle of the show?
Well, I'm for one of them, so you know, Rube coming out with all kinds of angles over there, boy. I'm trying to be clean, I'm trying to be heard and trying to get to Olympia. So if that's my ticket, then look at that third leg.
Boy.
No, man,
boy.
no, I think pretty
I
much.
love the fact that someone's being honest. Love it.
No, you know, you always joke around with that shit and people saying that, but, you know, everybody is just packing their own heat in their own way. So I guess, who knows? Has it been done before? I don't know, but I'm sure it might have, but you don't really see that. Everybody just does what they do, you know, go out there in their own self and show it off.
So how did, remind me, so how did the relationship between you and Blackstone Labs start? What was like the kickoff point there? And was that like the point to where you're like, yep, like I'm here, like I've kind of arrived?
Man, so check this story out. So, obviously I was an amateur still. I was trying to get my pro card, right? And I was trying to get ready for my junior nationals show that year, 2017. And I'm sorry, 2018. 2018, June 5th, all right? Junior Nationals in Chicago. So there's a thing called the Arnold's Fest, which is coming up pretty soon here in Columbus, Ohio. So they have a big festival and a show. It's a pro bodybuilding show, and it's a huge convention festival that all the supplement people, sponsors, everybody goes to, all the pros, everybody you can think of, right? And they all come to here once a year in Columbus. And so it's coming up here in 2 more weeks, the Arnold. But anyways, back then in 2018, it came up. So before it came up, obviously I'm old school. I'm not much with the technology and stuff like that. But we have a great thing with Instagram, right? That you're able to reach out to anybody or whoever, and it's a great platform. So I'm just a young dude just trying to, not a young dude, but I'm just an amateur just trying to, you know, become pro. And obviously I'm looking for sponsors. I mean, so I would sit there on my Instagram and I would DM, I would write a long message, right? And then I would copy and paste it. So I'd write a long message like, hey, my name is Joe Russo. I'm trying to make it pro. I'm doing junior nationals. You know, I told them some of my highlights. You know, I won Michigan, da-da-da. I'm trying to do classic physique. And then I sent a picture of me too, flexing. And so I sent it out to every kind of supplement company you can think of out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about hundreds of them. And I got a good handful of feedbacks from people like, oh, yeah, man, like, we like you, you know, that you look good, you know, come see us at the Arnold and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, cool, you know. So I drove myself when the Arnold was here. I took myself out there on my own by myself. It was kind of like job interviews for me, right? I'm an amateur just trying to make it pro. I don't even know if I'm going to be pro, but I'm trying to get sponsored. I'm trying to have people, you know, look at me, follow me, and you know, I can get supplements and all that good stuff with. So I went to the Arnold. I go to all these companies that I message and DM, and a lot of them were like, you know, who are you? You know, like, okay, you did. All right, this and that. And I didn't get great vibes. I talked to them. You know, a lot of them, though, were really cool with me. They were like, man, I like your look. You know, you got a good talent. But it was always but, right? And it was like, but you don't have enough followers. You don't have enough Instagram followers. That was like the number one thing I always heard. Your followers are nothing. So what are you going to do for us? And I was like, damn, really? I'm like, okay, well, I guess this is how it works nowadays. I need to get followers and stuff. So anyways, I had some guys give me their card still, like, hey, when you get your followers up, or even some guys talk my ear off, like, yeah, man, we'd like to do stuff with you. Here you go. But they never came through. They were all just talking shit a lot. So before Blackstone, I was going to sign with 5% Nutrition. And that's with Rich Piana. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he's just like a monster of a big dude, really cool dude. He made lots of videos on YouTube that, like, he always spoke the truth, right, about everything raw in the industry of working out and bodybuilding. But everybody loved Rich. He was just a great guy. At the Arnold, his line would be one of the longest. People would love to come see him and everything else. He passed away a couple of years ago. So the year that I met him in 2017. And he remembered me when I went to the Arnold in 2018 when I was going to introduce myself to all these companies. And so I talked to him. We hit it off awesome. He got my number, my information. He took me back to the back of the booth where they're at. All these people are like staring, like, who's this guy talking to Rich and why is he spending time with him and all that? And so me and Rich, we kicked it off real well, man. We talked for about like 40 minutes or so. And I felt cool and confident, right? And so I left there, and then I went to Blackstone's booth that they had over there. Walked up to Blackstone. I saw PJ, the owner of Blackstone. And I was like, hey, PJ, remember me? And PJ has a long line too, And I'm like, PJ, remember me? My name is Joe, Rude Dog 33. I've talked to you. You told me to come see you. And PJ, man, was real, like, he stopped everything that he was doing. And he had fans waiting for him, just like Rich. And he stopped just like Rich, took me over to the side, and he talked my ear off. Me and him were just back and forth, rapping with each other, talking. And it was cool, like a great vibe. And the funny thing is, both those guys are Italian, so maybe that worked for my reason to help me out there. Us Dagos together.
There it is.
I don't know, but I'll take it either way. So me and PJ talked, and he was always like, PJ at the end, and me and PJ talked for about over an hour. We talked longer than me and Rich, right? And so people are just staring again, like, who's this guy? What the hell? Why is he talking to him? We're here to see PJ. What the heck? And PJ told me, he's like, here's my card with his number on it. And he was like, I'm going to send you our supplies. I'm going to send you our supplements. And I want you to try them out. Do what you want to do with them. If you want to talk about them or what you want to do, whatever you want to do, I don't care. And see how it goes from there. And I'm like, okay, cool. Now I'm like, I hope he doesn't dog me like all the rest of the guys, I'm like, he talked to me for over an hour, so maybe he won't, He's obviously got to mean something right there. So, man, after that, I came home from the show, and that was probably Saturday. So I came home Saturday night. And then probably about Tuesday, I get a package in the mail, and it was from Blackstone. And PJ sent me a whole line of supplements, I've always had people that were like, yo, we'll give you our supplements to try out and show it off for us, just show it off and try to give us some money, not caring about anything with me, but just show off their stuff so they can make,
Because you already look good and make our supplements look good.
Right. So I'm like, that's kind of like using me, but I know that we need to start somewhere. But I didn't get that from Blackstone or PJ. But anyway, so I got the whole supplements, right? All kinds of different things. And I'm on my Instagram, and I kept doing like what I do with them. I took pictures of it. There's some stuff of me trying it out, all kinds of stuff like that, And then I was always like, PJ would always like my post and comment and stuff like that. And then so one day, man, this was probably like a month later, right? So I've been doing this for probably about 3 weeks now, 3 to 4 weeks. And then the one day I'm working out at Powerhouse, I come home at my normal, at my normal time, probably like around 9 o'clock-ish or whatever. And I go on my Instagram like I always do, about to post a picture, I just got done working out, need to go post. And I see a post from PJ that he posted out, and it was a video. And it's really cool because I posted it today in my story, as a throwback Thursday kind of a thing. And it was a video that he made out of nowhere. He was like, hey, We're going to sign a new athlete. We haven't signed a new athlete, a full sponsored athlete in a long time. I like the way that this guy is, the way he carries himself, the way that he shows our brand, just a video of me about a minute long. And he's like, hey, a full sponsored athlete is Rue Dog, and I'm like, and I'm looking at all this, and I remember to this day, I'm in my bed, just got done from the gym. I laid on my bed to go scroll and to post a picture, and I see that right away is PJ's video. Man, I jumped out of my bed. I screamed like I won like the Super Bowl, right? I mean, I'm going nuts. And that time I had a roommate, and he comes into my room. He's like, what the hell? What's going on? Are you all right? And I'm like, fuck yeah, and I'm showing him the video, and PJ says, DM me. So I DM him. He sends me the contract. And next thing you know, man, it's been a freaking blessing. I've been with them for 5 years. I'm a full sponsored athlete, not just one of those like, hey, use my code for a discount and work with Blackstone. I'm talking about full sponsored, man. They take care of me. I get, paid from them, supplements from them. Also, whenever I do a show, it's all covered, my airfare, my food. I mean, you're talking thousands of dollars. Bodybuilding is an expensive sport. It's a nonstop sport with your supplements, with your food, getting ready for shows, tanning, hotels, travel, all that stuff. It's a lot, And without them, I wouldn't be able to do a lot of that stuff. I would be like, oh, let's wait until next year. Let me save up more money so I can get ready for this show. But, man, it's been such a blessing that they trusted in a guy like that. So he made me a full sponsored athlete before I even did my junior national show to even get my pro card. So right after that, I went to the show, and obviously I took first. I won, brought home the trophy, turned pro. And it was just like a fairy tale, man, for me. It was really cool at that time, So that's how I got my sponsorship. Everybody thinks that like you see so much in the gyms now. You see all these people trying to be models and show off their bodies in any kind of way because they're trying to get that lucky person to DM them without using them. They're trying to get that one lucky person to be like, hey, I'm going to make you a millionaire, and you're going to be a sponsored, and you're going to be on posters and everything else. There's so many of these young generation people that think it's like it's so easy and so rewarding, and it's tough. It's a tough industry. I know pros that are Olympians right now that aren't even full sponsored athletes like someone like me. And they still have to pay their way for certain stuff. And so it's just been an incredible journey that some dude that I talked to, PJ, he's like my brother now, but that he gave me that opportunity and that shot. Now, don't get me wrong. Rich Piana was giving me that shot too. So the reason I didn't go with Rich is because he died 2 months ago after the Arnold. He passed away. I think he had an overdose or something like that. So I was like, I got to go with Blackstone because obviously the main guy, is out of the company. I don't know if that company is going to run anymore. They still do, and they're still doing great, 5% nutrition. But
you don't know what direction they're going to go or anything.
Yeah, you have no idea who's taking the reins.
Right. And you're talking about industry, and I'm picking my, I'm not going to get another chance at PJ or something like that again. So thank God I made the right choice. And PJ was always a man of his word. I mean, that's what was crazy. Trust me, man. I talked to Muscle Tech, Gatsby. I mean, every kind of brand you can think of out there. And a lot of them were kissing my butt too. Like, you're looking good. We can do stuff with you. But then they all gave me the runaround. And PJ was the only dude that meant what he said to me. He wasn't just talking my ear off or showing off to me. He sent me his whole product line. And it was up to me to do what I needed to do. And I did somehow, some way, the way he wanted it. And, that's what got me my full sponsored, contract, and like I said, I've been with them for 5 years now. And, but I had to do my work. You know what I'm saying? I had to go drive myself to Columbus, 3 hours away or whatever, and walk in these lines, these long lines, and wait to just spit my game and talk to these people. And it was an all day process, man. And luckily, I got lucky, man. I did what I needed to do. I knocked on the right door, and ever since there, it's been a great thing. It's been really, really cool with Blackstone Lab.
One of my favorite things to do, Rue, and you're gonna get a kick out of this and probably laugh, is when I get frustrated during the day and you post something, I actually go on your comments because I always wait for that one creeper, right? DM me for pics to this magazine or this or that. And I'm just like, sometimes I sit there and think, I'm like, I hope Rube messes with these people or fucks with them and just DMs them and just says, what do you want to see?
Just a double bird
bicep or a foot? Yeah, you get a lot of those people on Instagram, and you don't even know who's freaking real or who's what now anymore with that stuff. But yeah, man, like with Blackstone, like I said, man, PJ was always a man of his word. He listened to me. He knew that I wanted it. And it just fit in perfectly right after I won my pro card. Like, he gambled on me, and I kind of came through for him, and we both did what we had to do. Yeah.
It's almost like he knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, I mean,
he's kind of right there at the right time, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was really cool that, God put us in that position together like that to rock and roll. With Blackstone, man, I've been blessed to do a lot of amazing things with them. I got a chance to go live in Florida, Tampa, Florida, which is really cool. Just to work out, and just hang out, who gets to do stuff like that, So, and like I said, they helped me with my shows, supplements, all that good stuff. So if it wasn't for them, man, it'd be a long journey. It'd be a hard journey. I wouldn't know what to do right now of trying to get to that next step,
And Foot, I don't know if it was a throwback photo or I went down a wormhole one time a couple years back. If you've never seen a picture of PJ back in the day, the dude was a monster back in the day when he was bodybuilding.
I'll have to go double down on it.
Yeah.
He was huge. Probably, 15 years ago, Rue? 10, 15 years ago?
Yeah, he always kept himself, stocky and in shape and stuff like that. PJ, the bad thing about PJ, he had a lot of injuries. He had a lot of shoulder issues and stuff like that. But, yeah, man, back in the day, dude, this guy was massive. He was a monster. He was like the next name coming up in bodybuilding. And then he had all these surgeries and messed up shoulders, which set him back, though. But one thing about PJ, man, he's a smart, intelligent dude. He got into the supplement business instead, and he's actually did a great business, with it. And he's carried that business to the top. And he's been making, I'm sure, some good money throughout the years, with them. So, he's a very smart and intelligent man, but yeah, he was a monster back in his day. PJ had some great body parts, man. He had some good legs and arms and stuff like that. But yeah, he definitely killed it in his days.
So real quick, Rue, when you're competing, right, there's basically each event has 3 rounds, right?
Each event. So you have you'll come out there and you'll be in front of a group of 5 people, depending, say if there's 20 guys, there's going to be groups of 5 that come out, and you'll be in a lineup, and then you'll do your mandatories. So those are quarter turns that you're showing off certain muscle parts. And then the judges will be all right, next, and then the next 5, or whatever, how many people you have. After that, they'll call out the top 5 after that. So they'll see everybody do their turnarounds and all that stuff, and then they'll pick out each one of those people that they thought that was that can go to that next round. And so then they pick the 5 people out there. Now you're competing with just those 5. You know what I'm saying? But then they'll also do second call-outs, which would be 10th place, 11th place, stuff like that too. But yeah, you want to be that first call out. That's why they call it first call outs. You want to be that number that you're, one of those 5 numbers that the judges are calling. But everybody gets to do a routine, no matter what, at the night show. So this is happening in the morning time, and then you come back at night. And even if you didn't get call outs, you could still go, and you're still going up there on your own and showing yourself to your own music, your posing routine, and all that for the night crowd, for the fans, for your family, stuff like that.
And that was going to be my question. Sorry. For your own routine, how do you go about choosing your music? Is it based off of where you're at? Is it based off how you're feeling? Is it based off time of the year? What's happening? How do you pick
right.
that?
who's coming out with the hits and what, right?
Right.
No, it's for me, man. I've always been like, I've always wanted like a motivating kind of songs and stuff like that. So for me, you know, I had Carrie Underwood, Champion, with Ludacris. So I don't know if you guys ever heard that song or what. It's called Champion. I don't know. When I heard that song, it just fit me. You know what I'm saying? So I used that song probably like 4 shows straight. And last year, when I did the Georgia show, I changed my song up. I changed it to this other motivation kind of song. I forgot the guy's name, who it is, but it was a really cool song too. But yeah, I just pick a song and I kind of stick with it. I don't really like come up with a new song every year. I'll stick with the same kind of song because it just gets me and I like it and I think the crowd will love it too, you know? But yeah, I don't really think too hard on it. But I also pick something that I know it's going to vibe, that people are going to listen to, you know, that also help me out and not hear some boring songs or just music playing that's like a beat, you know. So I think Champion, you know, people love Carrie Underwood. Champion, it's a motivating, good song, especially the words. So yeah, it stuck with me for a little bit.
Did any of these young 20s guys ever go, yeah, this song was made when I was born?
Yeah, but they better have kept it to themselves.
I'll meet you in the
get that
tanning booth,
special.
brother. You're going to meet you in the tanning booth, brother.
That's right. Put them in that
Gotta catch
tanning
me.
booth and give them a black eye instead of a brown one.
Exactly. Give him a black eye.
So,
Yeah.
so
All
we
right,
talked.
Well,
Go
one
ahead.
thing we got to understand. When are we seeing you on stage next?
Man, so I'm trying to compete this year. I want to compete this year, probably like towards the end of summer. So I still got to look at the calendar. I still got to, you know, get with my coach and pick out, you know, a show that we're looking into to do. But yeah, I'm trying to pick something out by the end of this summer to do. So pretty soon here, I should be getting ready and prep. And if not, then, you know, we'll see what goes on. You know, either I might take another year to get better and building myself and then jump out there. But I don't want to kind of wait that long. I kind of want to nail something right away. And also to get redemption from, you know, my last show in Georgia. I didn't really play so well. So it kind of, you know, makes me want to focus and get at it. So I kind of want to hit something soon. So hopefully you'll see Rue out there doing what he does.
Is this a Blackstone coach, or is this how do you pick your coach? Actually?
No, so you know, you can pick whatever coach you want. There's tons of coaches out there. My coach is Scott McNally. He's a Michigan guy, so he's always been with me since I was young, you know, doing my bodybuilding stuff. And I've always stuck with him. And I like it because, you know, he knows my body. He knows what to expect. He knows what works with me, what doesn't. That's the hard thing, man. When you pick these coaches out, you know, they don't know anything about you. They don't know what mixes well, what's good with you, how's your stress, you know, what can you handle, how's your body looking, all that.
And you have to be able to communicate that effectively to them, and they then understand it.
Right. You know, so obviously me and Scott had a couple of years together doing a couple of shows, so we know each other like that. So that's why I never wanted to get mainstream and pick out like a popular coach that you see on Instagram right now and stuff like that. And most of those people, man, they don't really pay attention to you like you should. They're just there for like your money and say, hey, do this, do that. But they're not looking at you in detail. You know what I'm saying? So with my coach, you know, I send things to him all the time, gives me quick response. He's like, you know, he lives, you know, 20 something minutes away. I can go see him in person, you know, so we can work together like that, you know, so that makes it more comfortable instead of going through this like online or something and through a video. Hey, look at me pose. How do I look? You know, because things are different that way, you know?
So I got to ask you one question real quick. You're going to laugh when I ask you this question, but what's your thoughts on Liver King?
I had that on my list that I didn't send him. That
Do it, Foot. Come on, get on it, baby. Liver King, man. You know, I don't really know like too much about him. I mean, I do. You know, I guess he's the guy that, you know, he always shows his videos eating liver and all these meats and stuff, and he says he's not on steroids, and obviously that whole controversy thing came out. You know, it is what it is, man. People are doing whatever it is out there on these videos and this Instagram to make them whoever they are, you know? I'm not gonna knock the guy's hustle. I'm not gonna hate on him. It is what it is. I don't really get involved with that TMZ kind of stuff, like who's doing what, or oh my God, did you hear that? That stuff is like whatever, you know. I mean, nothing surprises me nowadays with stuff, you know, people saying that they're all natural or all they eat is this or this is all they do, you know. If they get the people and the crowd going, then they get the people and the crowd going. But for me, I was never like in tune with him, but I knew who he was and I knew the whole controversy thing that went down. But you know, he's not on my radar to worry about or be like, oh my God, look what happened to him.
So basically, what we're saying is we could kick his ass, like
Definitely
us three together, like
in
us
a
three
figure
together.
four headlock.
Yeah, us three together, we could kick his. All right, Ted.
Here's my thing with him.
Coming
though,
at
like,
you, Lever King. We're coming.
everyone hates on him for doing the steroids, but what people don't realize, you could do the steroids, you still have to put in the damn work.
Yeah.
It's not like you just take steroids and all of a sudden you're just
Yeah, man, and that's what that's what you try to preach, especially to this young generation now, man. Because these kids, man, they're being more risk daring than we would ever have thought of. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy nowadays on just the kids with drugs. You know, you got kids that are in middle school shooting up heroin in their veins with a needle. Like I couldn't imagine touching something like that or trying to poke my vein at that age. You know, so. You know, these kids are more risky, and that's what I would love for them to do is the research and more knowledge on that stuff instead of thinking, well, if I take all this goodies, it's going to get me my magical body and I don't have to worry anymore.
correct.
And then they get lazy with the way that they work out. They don't push themselves hard because they feel good and they feel the results faster. So they think that, they can just keep it like that. And all they're doing, man, is just hurting their bodies. You know, when they're done taking that stuff, they're not even getting that muscle memory that comes back like us older people get. You know, they're just losing it, and it's like nothing besides just damaging your body more and more. And these young kids are just taking whatever, just to get to that kind of point. And it's a shame to see that. But like you said, even though you take something like that, I can give you guys all the drugs that you want. Especially Foot over there, so he can finally reach 200 pounds.
What do you mean?
I can give him all the stuff he wants, right? And yeah, he might put on like 10, 15 pounds, but is it going to be the right way of muscle or just turning into fat right away for him? And then also, he has to put that work in, like you said, to get that body to grow and respond and to break down and repair and all that stuff. You got to work just as hard. Just because you got a little oomph, it's just a faster recovery, a faster muscle builder thing, but you still got to put all that hard work and dedication in the hours, to make it be there. Because if you're not, you're just hurting your body and you're just blowing up and like a blowfish. You're blowing up, getting back down, blowing up, getting back down,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And nowadays, man, you got to be careful with that, man. These people are dying at a young age, man. These guys are having heart attacks, man, at 35 and 40 or even younger, and it's crazy to see, and it's really something that it's not candy, you got to definitely pay attention. You got to know what you're doing, and you got to make sure that you're doing it correctly and right. Like with me, that's just like with me to my goal is to make it to the Olympia, right? I didn't just turn pro just to show off and say I'm pro. I want to get to the Olympia. I want to get to the big dance, the Super Bowl. So, even with me, it's like, yo, Rue, what are you going to do to get to that position? And I have to think about that, because I'm getting older and I don't want to be one of these guys with heart attacks and stuff like that. And even me now, the stuff that I do doesn't even compare to pros. I've been doing a lot of stuff, because I've been really blessed and gifted in my genetics and stuff like that. But like where I'm at now in the pro level, when I was in amateurs moving all the way up, and I'm not showing off or being big-headed and stuff, but everything was easy for me. It was smooth, right? I was always first call out. I was always winning all my shows. I never lost, never did second place, nothing. I was just always 1-1-1. And then when I turned pro, so I did junior nationals, right, in Chicago. I turned pro. So check this out. 2 weeks later, I did my first pro show. And that was the Chicago Pro. So a lot of people, when they turn pro, they take like a year off, just to build themselves up so they can, be their pro debut. They can really stunt and show off, right? I jumped into a pro show right away. in 2 weeks, I did the Chicago Pro because I knew obviously there's a pro show in Chicago and I want to do it too. And I was all geeked up and excited. So I took first call outs and I took top 6 of the whole show, which was awesome. I was just like so excited. I'm like, damn, I'm making noise. I just won my pro card. I just got first call outs in a pro show. That's unheard of for your first show, right? And so I'm getting all kinds of publicity and people and stuff like that, and it feels good. And then the next thing you know, I did the Pittsburgh show, and then I did the Georgia show, and I totally bombed those shows. I didn't even get first call outs. And I'm like, this is the first time I had reality check because remember, fellas, my first pro show, which was 2 weeks later, I still got first call outs. Even though I took 6, that's still a huge accomplishment getting called out in front of the first group. So, after that, I'm like, whoa, Pittsburgh, I'm like, I'm looking at my little button with the number on it on my waistline. I'm like, hey, are you sure you ain't calling this number right here? Like, what's going on,
guys,
judges?
This is a 6, not a 9. It's
right.
A 6, look at the underline.
right. I'm like, there's something wrong here. And I'm like, whoa, reality. Yeah. And then I did the second show and I did the same thing. I didn't play so well. I came in too conditioned, too small, too cut compared to some of the other guys on stage because it's an art, man. When you cut down and you make weight, you got a certain amount of time to fill back out, which means that you get some carbs in you so you can look bigger on stage. And I was still small because I was real chiseled, compared to a lot of the guys. So I was like the most cut guy out there, but in classic, you need more than that. You need the athletic aesthetics, you need the roundness, you need to be full. And I didn't have that. So that's why I didn't place good. But I was cut as a dime, though, I tell you that much. But it doesn't matter at that point. So I started getting reality checks, and that's where I'm at right now. It's like, man, these guys are just crazy. They're freaks, they're genetically gifted. The drugs that are out there now, too, on top of that. And it's like, Rue, like, what are you going to do? Like, how are you going to step up? But I've always kept myself to be true with myself. And I'm just like, I'm just going to work harder. And I'm not going to take, those other drugs or the other stuff that I need like those guys are doing. When I do shows, fellas, my coach and my sponsors, they laugh at me. They're like, dude, you're going to compete and you're only doing this right here compared to all these guys that you're stepping on stage with. Good luck. That's what they tell me, like, good luck. And, it's a reality check. It's hard, but I got to tell myself I'm not in my 20s no more because if I was, who knows, I'd be like, let's get there anyway, any possibility that we can. But as I get older and where I'm at now, I look at the things that I have done instead of the things that, I could be doing to get to somewhere else, so I always am very humbled on like, dude, you won these shows, you won, you took first at a national show to get your pro card. You're, in Michigan, the first one to do it. You took top 6 in your first pro show. Like, those are just like awesome accomplishments, right? Like, you should be happy about that. And that's what I always look back at is the things that I did. I became a sponsored athlete. I went to New York. I did some cool things over there with the head judge of, the Olympia. He knows me very well. I got to go to the headquarters of the IFBB place in Pittsburgh and do a photo shoot out there. So I got a lot of awesome things that I've done in my career so far that a lot of people wish or they get the chance to even do. And so I think about that all the time to help me out so I don't fight with myself on like, damn, well, I need to do this so I can get there, is it still in me, the fire? Absolutely. I want to get to the Olympia. I want to still compete.
Sure.
And I'm going to try what I can do. But the cool thing is that they're coming out with Masters Olympia now. This is going to be the first year for it. They used to have it back in the day, like 10 years ago. And it gives guys, older guys like me, a chance to be able to compete with people around my age instead of me going against like 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds and stuff like that. So if
When
I
is
go,
that?
yeah, what's that?
When is that?
So they're doing it this year. It's in August, but I don't know. I don't turn the age yet. I have to wait one more year to be able to qualify for that.
Oh, well, there.
But
well,
it's
sorry,
cool,
we
though.
already penciled you in for a reoccurring guest for next year.
So, it gives me a chance to be able to still compete like we were talking about. And so I don't have to look at that road and be like, yo, Rue, if you want to get to that Olympia, you got to do it like this if you want to compete with people like Bumstead and all those guys that are just genetically gifted, you know? And so that's where I'm at with it, man. It's like, yo, either you're going to up what you need to do and do a lot more of different things to get to that, but you're going to risk yourself. You know, I'm in my late 30s, man. There ain't nothing, you know, there's a lot of things that I can take risk at and damage my body or hurt myself or give myself heart attacks. So, you know, you got to be smart. And I know in my journey of life, I know where I'm at. So, you know, I've done a lot of cool things if I never got there, but also now I get to still compete and I can do stuff with people my age now, you know, and still get publicity for it and popularity and stuff like that. So we'll see what the future holds. We'll see what way I go with it. But, you know, this year I'll still compete with all the young guys and everything else, but maybe next year I'll think about doing masters. Even though it sucks to say masters, you know, with the guys in your age and stuff like that.
Fuck that. What do you mean masters? When I hear masters, I think green jacket, baby. Fuck them. Yeah, right. Let's go.
Daddy Longleg Johnson over there with the tee off.
Let's go. Exactly.
Yeah, so you know, we'll see what happens with that, man, you know. But yeah, in our sport, man, it's crazier. Every year it gets crazy. These guys are looking like mutants, man. They're just like muscles on top of muscles. The drugs out there are a little bit stronger and better, but you know, it's all about what you want to do and how smart you want to be with it, you know, and where you want to take it. So that's where it comes down to. But to each its own, you know.
Well, I think I can speak for Dennis and I both. Like, we really appreciate like this full uncensored breakdown of something that a ton of people don't know a lot about. Yeah. Something that we're fortunate enough to know somebody that knows a ton about it and has been doing it very successfully for a long time. So wanted to thank you for it. And one of our reoccurring themes and one of our reoccurring points that we want to talk about is what's grinding your gears here lately in the world of Russo, huh? What's the one thing that's kind of pissing you off here lately?
Well, I don't get too pissed off, man. I don't let the world.
Right, you're the most positive person of all time.
No, not the most. I have my off. Don't get me wrong. I got my off days and grumpiness. I just might not show it too much on the cameras. But you know, the biggest thing now, man, is just seeing how the fitness industry has changed over the years. Like we were talking about earlier, like how I used to go to the gyms and how they used to be compared to nowadays in the gym. It's just like night and day. The cool thing about it is that I love that society in America is getting more involved with fitness and working out, and, you know, they're making my sport more popular, right? So that's all good things. That's all awesome things for me, you know? But I just hate the things that I see at the gyms, especially like the younger generation or the crowds. But, you know, I got to get used to that, too, because I know we're in a different time. We're in a different world now, you know. You know, it kind of annoys me that everybody wants to be a fitness or a bodybuilder or whatever, but yet they don't take it to that seriousness. And it's kind of like a diss for me in a way, but I don't really take it like that. But it kind of is. You know, I see all these guys, you know, taking their selfies and their pictures, and, you know, most of them are like what we were talking about. You know, they're posing, they're doing stuff like bodybuilders, you know, they're even talking about maybe doing shows and this and that. And they're dressing like bodybuilders nowadays. You know, you got all of your clothing brands. It looks like a club out there nowadays at the gym.
So I have a question when you say clothing brands. What is, tell me if I'm on or off. Is the fanny pack situation still a thing? Like, how does that work?
Or what about Zubas? Or Zubas?
Or Zumbas. Or, yeah, we didn't know that combo was lethal when we came up.
Right. At least that would be cool, though, man. But you don't see that nowadays, man. You see these, you know, the skinny joggers on these guys, or the biggest popular things are the thigh highs. I don't know why they're so popular and stuff, but it's the dudes that love wearing the thigh highs, you know, where it shows their thighs above the kneecaps off.
Oh, yeah.
And and I don't know what it is now, but I guess it's a cool thing to do, or you better be in style with it or whatnot, but you got to have a thigh tattoo. You ever notice that? You see all the younger generation, they got a thigh tattoo and they got these short shorts showing their kneecaps and that tattoo off. It's a big hit nowadays in the gym. I don't know why or what it is, but for the men, it's all about that. It's about shorts above the knees, have a tattoo on one of the thighs, and show it off. And then they all wearing like the brand name stuff. You know, they're spending all this money on all these. I'm still old school. You give me a T-shirt, let me cut the sleeves off, and let's rock and roll, right? You know, I don't even care. It could be holy, whatever. As long as I can cut it off, and I'm good to go. But
the sleeve goes on the head.
Yeah, Rudy, you were like, we were going through what I was going to wear tonight for this podcast, and I thought I found my Big 11 workout T-shirt from
classic
2002 high school, and had the sleeves lopped off till, I don't know, maybe 3/4.
Oh yeah, we did that
when we did the lopped offs all the
way down here. If you ain't showing that waistline or you ain't showing a nipple, then you didn't do it right.
Then it wasn't even done right. If you couldn't see two people lifting behind you going through the side of your shirts, then your cutoff was all wrong.
Right. You just cut off the whole front of the shirt, the design, and all the wording on it.
You got this much of a pattern on the front of your shirt.
It's crazy, man, but you know, it just shows you like how popular and how all these industries are making money, man. But like, I'm not hating on the companies, but yeah, man, they're selling joggers, hoodies, you know, whatever their athletes are joining the teams too, and they're following. You know, they're buying all this stuff, and they're expensive, man, and they're just wanting to work out in it. And you know, the funny thing too are the girls. You know, they're wearing all this stuff, right? And they're the ones that are complaining about how we're looking or how they're getting attention that they don't want. And it's just like, have you seen what these girls are wearing nowadays? It's like, how do you not expect any of that from a man's view to be looking or to think about, you know, anything that's going through their heads, you know? It's just like it gets skimpier and skimpier all the time. And the crazy thing about it is that you see a lot of the younger girls doing that too, even. And I'm not talking about like the 18 and 20s. We're talking like 15s and 16-year-olds. And it's like, man. And, you know, obviously people are built differently nowadays than back then too as well. But the funny thing that gets me too is with these women is that, you know, I can understand everybody taking selfies and wanting to see how they look and stuff like that, comparing. Yeah, there's people that are just doing it because they want to be known out there or just for fun, whatever. But the funny thing is with females, it's like they'll do a set of working out, right? Like say they're curling with their arms or they're bench pressing or something. And then instantly they get up right by the mirror and then they do one of these poses right here, right? I don't understand that. Like,
not even related.
Your arm, like at least
not even
your
related.
Arm. But no, all of them are like, yeah, I got a great chest workout. How does that look?
Right.
And it's like, come on, you know, like what are you doing to yourself?
I think everyone's got a couple different individuals on their own feeds, good, bad, or indifferent, to where you're like, yikes! Like, come on, just keep on scrolling, keep it moving. Don't do that.
How many people are posing and just eating up equipment at the gyms these days?
Yeah, man, that's a great question too, man. That's another thing that irritates me is that, you know, and I know, right? We're in a younger generation kind of a world right now, in a younger crowd. But man, all I see is just young kids that, you know, now if you're ready to go like I was when I was 15, 16, 17, you know, I was focused. I was like, let's get to it. Let's work out and whatever. You know, you talk here and there, say hi, but you were working, right? And seeing these young guys now, they come in groups. It's like I told you, it's like a club night. It really is. It's like, yo, man, you going to the gym tonight? Yeah, man, bring so-and-so and bring this dude and whatever. So there'll be like 4 of them or 5 of them always in groups together, and they're hogging the stuff. They're not moving fast, and they're just there to like chill, kick it, smack. And what I don't understand is why are these guys so damn touchy nowadays? I don't understand that. I see so many bromances going on in the gyms. It's like, damn, you're a little too close to be some bros right there, you know? It's like, you know, after every step, they're smacking high fives and bringing it in with hugs and stuff. I'm telling you, bro, you see some crazy things like that. And it's like, man, have my time changed? I kind of wish to go back to that old school mentality, but I'm not going to hate. We're in this new generation. This is what people are doing. This is what gets them off. This is what they're liking. Do I see things wrong with it? Absolutely, but who am I to say? I just do my thing and get to it. But yeah, man, the younger crowd, it's like they're more involved with the sexuality, the attention, who's going to DM them, who's going to look at them, who's going to give them a sponsorship. They're looking for that. That's their mindset. Instead of somebody like, dude, I bust my ass. I work hard. I show my pictures off in the right way. I'm trying to get sponsored, or I'm trying to compete and be an athlete. I'll go up to these guys and be like, man, you're doing all this and that, but do you compete? Oh, I thought about it. Maybe, and it's like, then why are you going through all this kind of things like a bodybuilder would do and all that, wearing the clothes and all that other stuff, It's just funny to me.
Yeah, a lot of that seems like the standard, social media clout chasing and just kind of wanting to be seen because they're not seen in other places in their lives. And
Right.
you know what? It's like, I think that's one of those things where it's like, all right, well, if there's an opportunity to be seen in the gym,
Right.
and they see it there, it's like, oh, well, yeah.
I always told myself.
These guys see me lifting weights. I'm gonna put it on the Instagram so everyone sees me lifting weights.
Right. I always told myself, man, if you're going to stand out, you're going to stand out. You know what I'm saying? Your aura, your power, your energy is going to talk for itself. And that's for every individual out there. But a lot of us don't see it like that, or we don't think like that. Like you said, we're more expressive with, seeing if we can throw this out here. And like you said, I mean, it is interesting, right? It is something fun, right? You put a picture out there and you're like, oh man, who's looked at it? Who liked it? Oh crap, I got a couple of comments. Are there any girls or guys or whatever? So I can understand all that stuff, but man, people, don't get addicted to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, take a break or take a step back and still find yourself, even me right now for Instagram, I'm old school. I never had Facebook. I don't even have Facebook to this day. And that's crazy because everybody has Facebook. MySpace, all that kind of crap that came out. The only reason why I have Instagram is because of this. You know what I'm saying? Is that I got to promote them. I got to show them off. And then also the way I saw Instagram ads was a great tool to be my character, right? I'm not saying Rue is fake, how I act is fake, but I get to be Rue, right, on camera. I get to express and show the world, like you guys say, how I'm motivating or how I help people or what I do. So for me, I love that aspect, that I can show who I am as a person and what I'm trying to do on my journey, instead of like, hey, look at me with my shirt off, or hey, give me some comments, or what kind of girls are going to be in my DM, all that stuff. And that's what I think most of the generation is at with it. They're just trying to get a quick buck, trying to see who's going to DM. And it's a platform, right? It makes you feel good to see, who reached out to you. Oh, that person was in my gym and he reached out because he likes me, or whatever, vice versa.
It's like back when we were kids, it's like on Valentine's Day, everyone had the shoebox, the slit cut out. It's like, oh, wow. It's
right.
Like, whoa, I got 22 different Valentines here. Can't wait to bust these bad boys open.
Right.
I rember that.
Absolutely. So I do understand a little bit about it, but the way that it's getting crazy, though, it's like, man, like, tone it down, or at least think about, you guys are like zombies. You're not thinking about and I'll go up to them and be like, what do you want? Like, do you want to become a bodybuilder? Do you want to compete?
What's the goal here?
And what's the goal here, And a lot of them don't. They just don't know what to even answer that by. And it's like, but I'll keep taking sexy pictures or cool pictures of me and see what happens, So I got to get used to that, and that's what I'm trying to do, But it sucks, trust me. It sucks seeing a lot of these dudes just taking up equipment on their phones, or they're just posting, or they're there just to half-ass it while I'm here to, like, do my job.
Earn.
Kind of thing.
Exactly. Work and earn. Exactly.
Right. What
about you, Reedy? What's grinding your gears here, nearing 40-year-old Dennis?
My biggest thing, Rue, you're going to laugh at this one, is I cannot stand going and every takeout place now, Starbucks, takeout food, everything, is they ask for a tip when you check out of everywhere. I mean, you're doing your job. Like, I don't need to tip you.
With the half-ass service, too.
Correct. Like, Your job is to make this. Actually, the most relieving thing of it all was today. I went to Little Caesars for my family.
That hot and ready, baby.
Not healthy. Hot and ready, breadsticks, cream cheese, garlic sauce.
Got it.
Got out. The guy goes, first of all, he's like $10.38. I'm like, even better. Whole family fed for $10.38.
Right.
First thing that pops up, nothing about tip. Puts it in, nothing about tip, and then at the end it says, do you want it all on this card? I could have even had the option to split cash for a $10.38 bill. They're asking me if I want to split the bill, but they're not asking for a tip. But everywhere else you go, it doesn't matter if it's a coffee shop.
Right.
Everywhere, and they all expect 20%, and it's like, I'm getting takeout. Like, you're not doing anything.
Right. And you're the one that's driving to come pick it up and to walk right inside and grab the food.
Correct.
And then
Doing
they're
all the work
like this. Where's my tip at? It's like, what? I came in, I drove, I picked it up. Give me a discount.
I did the service portion of the job. So
Right. But man, what drives me crazy too with that is just the customer service with people. It's like, I know people don't care, but man, right now they really just don't care. You know, at food places, fast food, grocery market, whatever.
Anywhere.
You ask anybody to do something or, you know, they made something wrong. It's just always half-assed. They're always complaining. People are always so rude, but yet at the end they're doing this. Can I get a tip, right? Yep. And it drives me crazy to see, like, you know, with us and our work ethic back in the day, you know, like how we are still today. You know, you work, you grind, you earn, and you worked your ass off, you know, to show people, like, where you're at, you know? And it's like, man, these people, they're listening to music while they're trying to talk to you. You know, they're on the conversation with their phone calls with their boyfriend. It's just like, what the heck is going on? Or you don't even have people working in there. And it's like, oh, sorry, hold on. I got to collect your money and I got to go make your food too while I'm at it because there's nobody running the place. So, man, yeah, it's just a wild generation we're in this world, though.
I mean, you're looking at Burger King. Some of these Burger Kings, KFCs. I was up in Traverse City. $21 an hour they would hire you for, and they couldn't fill the spot.
And that's true, bro. They're offering people, and man, when I first started working, I was making $6.20 an hour. $6.20 at Burger King. And that was just minimum wage, right, that we started. And I'm looking at the same job that I had when I was a youngster in high school that they're offering grown-ups right now for freaking $20 an hour, $19 an hour. And like you said, man.
With less skill needed because of the automation.
Right. And it's like.
And free food.
Right. And it's like, where are these people at? Like, I don't understand how people are surviving and making a living nowadays. Are they like. They have a scheme that we don't know about? How are these people not working and they can't find people, and yet we have to get up every day and go, you know? It just mind boggles me how everybody says there's not enough staff or we don't have enough people. Or what about our food at these places? Why are they so fucking disgusting and nasty? And they don't dissolve. You take a McDonald's cheeseburger, you can leave it out for 1 year. Go look at videos on this, and it will not rotten or turn colors or do anything. It will still be there. It won't dissolve. It's just crazy to see stuff like that. And that's the stuff that you're putting inside your system, you know, day in and day out. And if you look, even at like some of the better places, you know, that you're going to, like Subway or Arby's or whatever it is, I don't know. But the food is all changed. It never tasted like what we used to have. Even Hot and Ready's, man. Back then, Little Caesars was the shit. Now you can taste it, and it's like, it's all like processed and like the cheapest way to go, you know? And it just really like mind boggles you. Like, man, I used to eat this back in the day, even though it was different kind of makes back in the day. But right now, it's like, I don't know how these people are eating a lot of this stuff, man. When it's causing them their guts to hurt, it's causing them to feel lethargic, to feel lazy after they eat and they want to nap, all that stuff, man. And they just keep going day in and day out because people in America were spoiled and we don't know what it feels like to be healthy or to at least eat clean a little bit. People always tell me, they're like, this is their number one thing. I'm getting old, right? I'm getting older. Oh, I'm hurting because I'm getting older. Or, you know, oh, my stomach is messed up because I'm getting older. Or who cares? I'm just getting older. And it's like, if you pay attention, you're not supposed to feel lethargic, lazy. You're not supposed to eat something and go back to bed after you ate it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys, like, people aren't like realizing, like, and why is everybody lactose intolerant too now? We used to drink cereal every single day of our lives as kids, right? And chocolate milk and all that good stuff. We never had stomach issues. And now with all this shit inside of our food, it's just you know, messing people up, giving us cancers, blowing our stomachs out, you know, causing all kinds of gut problems in people. And people think I'm just getting older, or that's how I'm supposed to feel, because 90% of the time they're eating dirty, they're eating like shit, and they're eating that processed stuff every day for lunch or dinner or even both. And so that's how they think they're supposed to feel. And it's like, no, when I'm on a diet and I'm eating real clean, I have the most energy, and I'm at the most oldest I've been, right? But I'll have the most energy that I've ever had. And I will not take naps during my day. I love my naps now because obviously I'm just eating whatever, trying to get better and bigger. But it really shows you and wakes you up when you do a diet on how it makes your body feel compared to your normal human beings on, well, this is how you're supposed to feel. What do you mean? How am I supposed to feel different? And it's like, dude, if you would clean that up and really see how much energy you have, really see your stomach cleanse, like when you go to the bathroom and you have whatever in your system and it's out of there, instead of like you went to the bathroom and you still have your stomach feeling the same, you know, it's totally different, man. And not to mention the energy that you have. You don't take naps, and you can finish and accomplish your full day of work. And it's crazy to see. It's hard to do, but it's crazy to see how great your body feels. Like, also for me too, I would get like, you know, really sore and like, you know, even like lower back pain sometimes, you know, from working out and all that stuff, right? But when I'm eating really clean and it's all good foods coming in me, my body feels even repaired and feels even better too. And it's so crazy to see, you know, how different that is night and day, and that you can still feel that even to my age today if I'm doing it correctly and right. But we don't know the feeling of that. We don't understand that. And we think it's more work and complications. So that's why we say, screw it. You know, this is how I'm supposed to feel. What are you talking about? Everybody else I talk to feels like this too. So we're just getting old and we're getting, you know, out of shape. But no, man.
Hey, Rue, I don't mean to cut you off, brother. I love you. Speaking of pain is gain, brother, I've been having a piss for, no joke, 25 minutes.
You gotta have that Gatorade bottle right there,
dude,
boy.
No.
32 ounce.
I am going to explode. I gotta let you guys go.
I'm gonna wrap it up here with Ruth. Thank you for your time tonight.
Go.
Keep doing what you're doing. Keep inspiring, bud. Keep motivating. Keep being you. And you know, as Foot mentioned, if you're willing to do it, we hope to have you on again here before your next big show on stage. Please make sure to follow him at RuDog33 on Instagram, RUDOGG33. If you're looking for a personal trainer in the Detroit area, DM him. Shout out to Blackstone Labs. Be sure to use code RuDog33 at checkout for 20% off your next order. Ru, is there anything else you have for us?
Man, I just want to say you promoted me awesome just a minute ago there. I love that. You could be my new hype man before I go out on stage. But no, man, I just want to say thanks to you, Reedy, and Foot. You guys are doing a great job, man. I love the way you guys came together to do this podcast. I hope it really picks up. I hope you guys, you know, keep doing your stuff out there. You know, keep doing you. I love the way you guys connect out there, and I know you're going to get a lot of viewers and a lot of followers, man, because you guys just definitely reach out and touch people out there. But thanks for having me, man. It's been a blessing. It's been an honor. You know me, man. I'm always going to come back for my boys. So whenever you need me, I'll be here for you.
Thank you so much. And once again, guys, follow him at RuDog33 on Instagram, and shout out to Blackstone Labs. Be sure to use code RuDog33 at checkout for 20% off. Thanks again, Ru.
Let's kick it Ru style, fam.
There you go. Have a good night, guys.
You too.